Michael Jackson, channeled message with Ute Wilhelm, August 7th, 2012, 7:30 CEST. Before I read Michael's message to you, I would like to tell you first what he had told me about his death back in 2009, when I asked him if he was really murdered, as this would be what me and so many others had felt from the very beginning. Michael answered me. First, they killed me emotionally. You can kill a person emotionally. Then they gave me the final shot. I had been dying for years. It was a long and hard dying. I went on to ask him, Michael, would you like to tell me some names of persons that are involved in the conspiracy against you? He told me 3 names. I do not open up a secret when I say that those persons are very well known to the public. One of them already passed away or had been removed, as Michael had been removed. I asked him another question. Michael, would you like to tell me some more names? This is what he answered me. You don't know them. They sit up high in very high positions, and they are very dangerous and cruel people. I will now read to you Michael's message that he asked me to put out, due to all the recent as well as continuing confusion about his family and legacy. This is a message to my fans and supporters and is also meant to support my family. This shall be a message of love, support, and hope. I know the recent goings-on that have been happening concerning my children, my mother, my family, and the estate executors have been very confusing. I'm trying to clarify the situation a bit more for you and make you see behind the scenes, but I cannot go into it much deeper than I will do as for the safety of my family. They need the public, but they need to be protected at the same time. They need you and your support, and I need you to support them. I will be clear in my message, and those false executors of my estate will understand very well what I am saying here. The will is fake. This is not my last will. Those people claiming to be the executors of my estate, my legacy, allegedly appointed by myself, Michael Jackson, are lying. They were lying to me, they betrayed me, and that is why I released them years ago, back in 2003. There is enough evidence out there. They had not been authorized by me to sit there. They authorized themselves illegally with the support of just a handful of very powerful people on this earth. I have never wanted them back in my life. Never. I could not be more clear here. Those same people have now kept betraying and lying to my children, my mother, and my family, as well as to the whole world. My children and my mother, especially, as well as my family, are submitted to their control grid, which I was also submitted to when I was alive. I know many people still do not understand this, and this is truly not easy to explain and to understand when you have never been submitted to such kind of treatment and machinations. The more important it is to make it public. People who are involved with it know exactly what I'm talking about here. There is a control grid you get caught up in when you start a career, especially a very promising career. There are people behind the scenes pulling the strings. They sit in highest positions and own the entertainment industry. Lastly, they are the owners of the mass media too, and that is why there is so much false, twisted, biased, and manipulated information out there, especially when it has to do with made-up stories to cover up their dirty games and business. I'm truly deeply concerned about my children's, my mother's, and my family's lives. When you are unsure about what piece of information is true or false, stop and think for a moment, please. Ask yourselves the following questions. And those who really know me will know the answers. Would I want my family to be treated the way they have been treated by most of the media and especially the estate executors? What they have been doing here is deprivation of liberty. My children and mother are kept, and all my family is treated like slaves and prisoners, a fact that needs investigation and should lead to the executor's immediate resignation. Why would this not have happened so far? Because of the hidden few people acting behind the scenes that protect them doing what they are doing. Better yet, doing what they are directed to do by just them, the hidden few. Would I have really chosen just those people, those who betrayed me and who I had intended to sue back then, just them to be the executors of my estate, my legacy? Think well, please. No, they do in no way act according to my wishes, and they do not protect my legacy. They sell it, exploit it, and mix it up for their own good and according to their own fixed ideas stated in their fake will. Look at their business partners, and you will understand what I mean to say. Follow the money. I do not include my colleagues here who are caught up in the same system and control grid that I was. I am concerned about their safety and lives too. You are forced to do things that you have never wanted or intended to do, or this is it. Please remember what they have been doing to me throughout my lifetime, especially prior to my death and after having me violently tossed out of my life. Yes, I was murdered, and there has been going on a conspiracy against me for a very long time that is still continuing until today. I had to be removed. I was in their way and plans, which are also outside of the entertainment industry. There are a lot of people involved in my death, and they know who they are. Having been in their way and plans is the same as what is happening to my mother now. They are applying the same pattern of treatment on my mother especially, but also on my family. This is their modus operandi. My mother is not free in her decisions. The pattern is installing fear and stress by pressure, intimidation, and extortion. They threaten your life and those of your family and friends whenever they think it to be necessary and to reach their goals, monitoring your every step. Isolation from your loved ones, who were of true help and support to get you out there and protect you. Weakening you mentally, emotionally, and physically, which at times includes that you may even be being controlled with drugs they put you under, and so force you to do what they want you to do, not what is your natural right as a human being. If they do not reach their goal, they start to destroy you by endless attempts at character assassination. They rob you of everything. Tighten up the loop, and you end up all done with them making up stories about you that are not true, that are lies to cover up their evil and mean plans. The same is now happening to my children, my mother, and my family. This has been my worst nightmare that I have feared to come true. Again, they can only do all of this because they are protected by those just few behind the scenes. I truly fear for my family's lives. Would I have thrown out my family out of their home and forbid them to return? I have always loved my family. This is the answer. Here is what I politely, urgently, and desperately ask you to do. However, it will be always yourselves who will finally decide what you will do and I will respect that. Please see the truth. Please help to stop the attacks on my family and respect them just being my family. I love my family. Please support them in their legal issues and to get out the truth. Just be there with your hearts and your love. Keep them in your prayers. They need you to fight this through. This is not a happy issue and not easy to do. This is not a walk. This is very dangerous and a risk to their own lives. They fight for my children and my legacy and for justice for me. Do not believe the liars that betrayed me and lied to me too. They are out for profit and money only. They do anything other than to really care for my children and mother and to protect and continue with my legacy. Again, the estate executors do anything to turn the public against my family and use the mass media for their ugly campaign. And with the help of the mass media, they are trying to manipulate, confuse, and distract you from the truth. The mass media, the means to make facts and truth seem false. You do not get the whole picture just from the mass media. My family is fighting for having the fake estate executors removed from where they put themselves and take back my legacy for my children. Please consider all of this in your reflections. I want the estate executors and those behind them to stop their pressure, betrayal, and extortion of my mother and my family. Stop this evil and ugly behavior towards my mother. I want those fake estate executors to resign. I want the truth to be investigated and told by people who are neither on the estates or on the just few's payroll nor involved in the conspiracy against me and my family. It is time to set the record straight and tell the truth. I want all those involved in the conspiracy against me, and I want all those involved in my execution to be held accountable. The truth will come out. I agree with Randy's recent tweets and all that has been made public by my family and their lawyers. Please listen. My family is calling for help and support. Some lines of my speech back then in Harlem, as well as Randy's tweets, will be read to you again at the end of my message. Also some lines from some of my songs to remind you and the world what I had tried to tell you while I was alive. This was all not so easy for me to do. I tried to give you clues to become more and more aware of what has really been going on here in my situation and the world. Just dig a little deeper in my whole body of work, of art, and try to see the message behind it and what I had tried to tell you between the lines. You will find everything in there, but please use my pure art and work, not what they mixed up, as this would change my hidden messages. And finally, I want my mother to be my children's guardian with the help and support of my family, and for as long as she will be able to do it. She has done a wonderful and amazing job, and I trust her fully. As soon as the pressure and extortion will be taken off of her, she will be able to again do this wonderful job that she has been doing since I was tossed out of my life involuntarily and cruelly. Please choose love when interacting with one another. You know that I am all about love. You will find me there and only there. Do not let yourselves be disturbed and distracted by liars and cheaters claiming to continue with my legacy, but who are only interested in making big business and cash and keep trying to spread hatred, confusion, and misconception among my fans and supporters, and attack or do support any attacks on my family. Recall, those who do this are all one and the same club. They claim to know me, but they do not really know me, as they would act with love and this is what they are not capable of to give. They are exposing themselves by their actions and wording and contradicting themselves more and more as they keep stirring up a mess. I could go on endlessly. Please do not allow yourselves to get caught up into this by them. Calm down and follow your heart. Just one more concerning my messages put out via psychic mediums. I have always been very spiritual myself. Please remember that I often mention that I channeled my work. I know that there are some of you who have difficulties with people having such abilities. Basically, we all do have them, but it depends on each single person themselves if they believe that this is true and or want to develop and use this gift once they find out they have it. A lot of you sense my spirit, so that's it. Meaning we are all spiritual and there is nothing wrong with it. Just some people decide to work in this realm, some not, or some do totally ignore it. This is each one's own choice, as everything that we do. However, you should be really cautious and check who is genuinely working and really working with me. There are also a lot of fakes out there who just seek attention or claim to work with me just for money. Such people I contacted either once or never. The check is also not always easy to do, as the confusion created in this field as well could not be worse. However, you should sense me in my messages that are put out by psychic mediums who really work with me, and put out only what I need to say, no more nor less, and not their own interpretation. I was very grateful to have found some of them working in this realm and just being here for me when I so urgently needed some orientation and also help to process some of the things that have been happening with and around me when I was alive and after I was so violently and unexpectedly tossed out of my life and not knowing first what had happened and what to do. They took me seriously, and they took me for who I am, just Michael, not Michael Jackson the celebrity, but Michael, myself, the man, the human being. Now that I can no longer be here physically, I choose to put out a message at times via this way. When things become so bad, confusing, and dangerous, as it has become now for my children, mother, and family, I must take the opportunity and speak out loud. It is not easy for me to see, watch, and bear all this without having the opportunity to myself directly intervene because I was robbed of my body. Therefore, I thank those psychics for having the courage to put out my messages. I know what that means, and they do it too. They are not into attracting any attention to their person themselves, but only to help me on this level. If they were into attracting attention to themselves only, and not really interested in what I need to say and put out, I would never go there anymore. Please understand this. I thank you all for your prayers and good wishes. I have heard them all, and this has helped me so much. I would not like to miss just one of you, my friends, those who really love me. I love and I need you all. Please keep on. From my deepest, barest soul, I thank all of you very, very much for your loyalty to me and for speaking up on my behalf. Perhaps this will help some more people to come forward as well. I thank all of you so much for being so courageous and dedicated to me, my children, and our planet and all who live on it. I thank all of you who have been loyal to my mother and my family despite all attempts to slander and bash them. I thank you all for standing up for truth and justice for those without a voice who need yours. Thank you very much for your love, for keeping up the effort to unite and stand united. Please keep going to bring about the change. Thank you for having listened to my message, and please help and support my family. I will always love you, Michael. Well, now I'm continuing with a Harlem speech. And there was Jackie Wilson, just on and on, unlimited great talent. It's very sad to see that these artists are really paying for they created so much joy for the world, and the system, the millionaire record companies totally, it's not like they always say, they build a big house, they spend a lot of money and bought a lot of cars and stupid excuses, not compared to what artists make. I just need you to know this. This is very important what we are fighting for, because I'm tired. I'm really, really tired of all the manipulations. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything in this situation. They do not tell the truth. They lie. They manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that. All injustice, you got to remember something. The minute I started breaking all-time records sales, I broke all-time records. The minute I made the all-time best-selling albums in the history of world records, overnight they called me a freak, they called me a homosexual, they called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They said everything to turn the public against me. This is all complete conspiracy. You have to know this. It's time for a change, and let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart, put it in your subconscious mind, and let's do something about it. You have to, we have to. It's been a long, long time coming, and the change is got to come. So let's hold our torches high and get the respect we deserve. I love you. I love you. I want to say, please don't put this in your heart today and forget it tomorrow. We will not have accomplished our purpose. If that happens, this has got to stop. That's why I'm here with the best to make sure it stops. I love you, folks. Thank you, and remember, we are all brothers and sisters, no matter what color we are. They don't really care about us. No matter what people say, we know the truth. Enough is enough, and it's garbage. We're deep here in fire. I'm there to remind you. Money. Lie for it, spy for it, kill for it, die for it. So you call it trust, but I say it's just in the devil's game of greed and lust. They don't care. They do me for the money. They don't care. They use me for the money. So you go to church, read the holy word. In the scheme of life, it's all absurd. They don't care. They kill for the money. Do or dare, they thrill for the money. You're saluting the flag, your country trusts you. Now you're wearing a badge, you're called a just few. And you're fighting the wars a soldier must do. I'll never betray or deceive you, my friend, but if you show me the cash, then I will take it. If you tell me to cry, then I will fake it. If you give me a hand, then I will shake it. You'll do anything for money. Anything for money. Would lie for you, would die for you, even sell my soul to the devil. Insurance? Where do your loyalties lie? Is that your alibi? I don't think so. You don't care, you do her for the money. Say it's fair, you sue her for the money. Want your pot of gold, need the Midas touch. But you sell your soul, 'cause your gut is such. You don't care, you kill for the money. Do or dare, the thrill for the money. Are you infected with the same disease of lust, gluttony, and greed? Then watch the ones with the biggest smiles, the idle jabbers, 'cause they're the backstabbers. If you know it's a lie, then you will swear it. If you give it with guilt, then you will bear it. If it's taking a chance, then you will dare it. You'll do anything for money. Anything, anything for money, would lie for you, would die for you, even sell my soul to the devil. You say you wouldn't do it for all the money in the world. I don't think so. If you show me the man, then I will sell him. If you ask me to lie, then I will tell him. If you're dealing with God, then you will hell him. You'll do anything for money. Protection for gangs, clubs, and nations, causing grief in human relations. It's a turf war on the global scale. I'd rather hear both sides of the tale. Smooth criminals are dangerous. They act hidden in plain sight. This has always made me want to scream. This is the real thriller. It's going down, baby. Watch.
Greetings. What's happening since so many years to Michael Jackson, as you know, as you're fully aware, if you're living on planet Earth, is really, the problem is really multifaceted, and I will go straight to the topic. The poor man never had a life to start with, and now that he is dead, he cannot even defend himself. The fact that they are destroying him 10 years after his death was not enough to destroy him during his life, but now they are destroying him 10 years after his death with leaving Neverland. Proof that it is an agenda to destroy his name, and particularly it's about money and not about truth and justice. Never was and never will be. I've done my own research, and I know that from the testimonies of people that really knew him, okay, because myself, I wasn't there. He was not a pedophile, but well, the attention is on Michael Jackson. Then the real pedophiles are covering themselves with the smokescreen. I really loved the interview of Siggy Jackson, because this allowed me to get into Neverland as if I was there. So I want to thank you, Siggy, for this. All the people of the world need to unite together to bring money in order to get a documentary telling Michael Jackson's side of the story in the main languages. People, let's shut the Oprah's machine covering Weinstein against Michael Jackson down. People, Michael is scapegoated for him. Weinstein is the predator. Oprah is kissing him. Something is more than deadly wrong here. Not only Michael was murdered, and I mean murdered because I did research that as well, but they are trashing his name ad vitam aeternam This is insanity at its peak. It is an agenda, obviously. This is unbelievable. Even Michael said that concerning Sony, that Mottola is the devil. He called him the devil. So there is a fundraising organized by Taj Jackson for an explosive documentary series that will permanently destroy decades of salacious myths that have been told and sold about Michael Jackson. I will say in French now. Collecte de fonds organisé par Taj Jackson pour une série documentaire explosive qui détruira définitivement des décennies de mythes fallacieux qui ont été racontés et vendus à propos de Michael Jackson. And I will put the link in the video description. Je vais mettre le lien dans la description de la vidéo. No kidding. Of course, I'm going to make a French video of this. No kidding. HBO airs Michael Jackson exposed Living Neverland in March, while Harvey Weinstein doc Untouchable seeks a buyer. Can you believe that? Untouchable seek a buyer will be in the video description as well. With the fall of the king of Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein. How Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuse cover-up fell apart, the backstory in the New Yorker will be put in the video description. And if there's not enough space, oh by the way, if I'm not speaking quick enough, just go to settings and select 1.25. So that you should be fine for you. And if not, then go for 1.50. But I highly suggest 1.25 because I've tested that. Where was I? Yeah, if it's not all the links, if they are not entering in the all in the video description, just go to the comment section. I will pin all the links to the video as well. Wow, Oprah, HBO, AG, Harvey Weinstein, ties to Michael Jackson, Living Neverland, fake news doc will be posted too. So Weinstein is going down along with Oprah, and this is only a start because truth always wins in the long run, as Michael said himself. Please see my video response to Harvey Weinstein, the fall of the king of Hollywood, and please circulate. So now we're going to the main problem, is that all those guys are corporate. For instance, this Weinstein. Let's read that again. HBO airs Michael Jackson exposed Leaving Neverland in March, while Harvey Weinstein, the real predator, Doc Untouchable, seeks a buyer. Any problem here? So, we're talking about a corporate psychopath. Not only I am an independent investigative researcher, but also I was trained as a psychologist. So I don't see psychopaths everywhere or sociopaths everywhere, but when I see one, in the case of Weinstein, he is a sociopath for sure. And so I was trained as a psychologist as well, and I'm actually in convalescence, healing from narcissistic abuse. And so we spoke about Oprah, we spoke about Harvey Weinstein, And like I was saying at the introduction of my video, is that the real predators are covering themselves with this smokescreen created. And there is a link with HBO and Weinstein. A sociopath or a psychopath usually launch their psychic attacks following a very calculated formula. This is in the picture. Narcissistic abuse. How the narcissist uses projection to destroy you. Okay? This is a very good video as well. So this will help you to understand better how bad things are and how serious, but most of us know how serious this attack is, but to which extent and how to understand, because like Michael Jackson said himself while he was alive, remember that one of his last albums, he was not really selling it in the United States. There was success everywhere around the world except in the United States. And he said it's not exact word he used, agenda, but this is what I think it was conspiracy used. This is what's going on to this day. Michael cannot rest in peace, and I'm sure he is not, because he's still a sensitive being, even though he's on the other side. Knowing this, I'm doing my own part, but with the fact that I'm not as efficient as I would like to be because of the lack of energy that I have. By the way, David Bowie was criticizing MTV for not playing videos by black artists. He noticed that at the time. Now there is an equation that I'm not the one who discovered that. From August 21st, 1958, his date of birth, to January 27, 1984, this so-called Pepsi incident, remember? There was total 9,282 days, and from January 27, 1984, like I said, if I'm not speaking quick enough because of lack of energy, just select 1.25 please, because I forgot to say at the very beginning of the video, if you like it, don't hesitate to subscribe and to put the thumbs up. So let's start over. From August 29, 1958, his date of birth, to the so-called Pepsi incident, January 27, 1984, there were total 9,282 days, and from January 27, 1984, this Pepsi incident, to June 25, 2009, his death, which we know it was a murder, but Latoya was more clear about that, is that the doctor was the fall guy, but there were more involved in his death. So total again, from Pepsi incident to his death, 9,282 days. This is Illuminati signature. And the real predators, pedophile, Illuminati, and that is why they are on this case, to blow some smoke to cover their own deeds. So, like I said, I'm not the one who found that Illuminati equation. Luna Joe, Jolanda, at the end of the video knew what did happen to Michael Jackson, Redux Part 1. So this is where I got that equation, the source of the equation, credit to whom the credit is due, to know by studying what happened to him. Okay, so by studying since a few years already what happened to him, at least I would say since he spoke against the New World Order, I studied exactly what happened to him, and like I said, I'm myself an independent investigative researcher, and I cannot stop researching even though I am in convalescence, because that keeps me going. So Michael Jackson does have sadistic enemies who don't leave him alone even after 10 years of his death. How sick is that? So I have a playlist on that. People of the world follow the money concerning the murder of Michael Jackson. I have 3 playlists on that. I have a French one too on the same topic. Gens du monde entier suit l'argent concernant la chute de Michael Jackson. Étudie cette playlist. Michael Jackson fut le bouc émissaire. Mysterious deaths related to narcissistic abuse. Of course, Michael Jackson comes to mind. And Katie Krashko really did a great job about talking about the whole experience of narcissistic abuse, and obviously this smell narcissistic abuse, alright, and that's the reason why Latoya, when she was abused by her former husband, she was, unfortunately, she said things she should not have said, but she was under the grip of her ex-husband, and she did correct herself and tell the truth finally. So also the covert narcissists plan your destruction. So since the first day, so as soon as Michael Jackson really start to talk about the fact that he was abused, and naming Motola the devil. Since that time, they really did a huge character assassination, and they still are doing that. They're using him, they are scapegoating him, while they are supporting I think I did speak about Oprah, but something I think slipped from my attention. Of course, Oprah is involved while kissing Weinstein. She's scapegoating Michael. So let's leave at this for now, and I will add more in the video description. And again, if not all the playlists and videos substantiating everything I said, then I will pin it in the comment section. Also, another interesting video that I've made concerned because Kathy Krashko got an excellent book, What Makes Narcissistic, the Unblemished Victim, and the Character Assassination. You see what I'm saying? Michael being unblemished victim. What makes narcissistic? Kathy Krashko. Protecting ourselves and narcissism in high places. So yeah, there is theme that I see between Weinstein and Oprah. So Weinstein is going down along with Oprah, and this is only a start because truth always wins in the long run, as Michael said. Michael said, lies run sprints and truth runs marathons. I thank you for your understanding that this is not my mother tongue, and that also I'm dealing with chronic fatigue due to narcissistic abuse. I hope you like my research, and I will complete in the video description or the comment section. Thank you. Take care, and let's hope that we will see justice in this, because if we see justice in this, if we see justice for Michael and his family and his friends, we will see it will start the ball rolling for changing other things that are far from being perfect, let's say. And speaking of the ball rolling, since the agenda destroying Michael is in the United States, even though Michael performed mainly in the United States, and I see that there is more support coming in other countries. They even go on mainstream media to talk about leaving Neverland in France, for instance. So I would suggest the family to consider to concentrate on getting the support elsewhere before this, sorry to say, hellhole. I have my own experience. I thank you for listening. What we have done to the world, look what we've done. What about all the peace